What's happening, everybody? This is the Wrestling Informer number 12. We're here giving you some news, and we're going to run down what was happening for the pay-per-view coming up for day one, this new pay-per-view. We're going to kind of preview it. I'm Cab Manning. I am from the Lingus Mafia podcast. All of my nonsense could be found at Lingus Mafia. I'm with your informer. He could be found at K100 Informer. He knows all the tidbits inside, and we're going to get to it. That's Mr. Billy Body.
Cav, a man can't stand, he can't fight.
He can't fight if he can't stand.
Man can't breathe, he can't fight. Man can't see, he can't fight. Extreme situations require extreme measures, and that's what we should be talking about. I can't believe what I want to talk about with somebody is the new season of Cobra Kai. I'm dying. Let me tell you, it's like wrestling pay-per-views when I was 11, when you remember what that was like, times 10. Like, I'm more excited about watching this series than anything they've done in wrestling in 10 years, even going to WrestleMania. There's nobody that you could invite round here. She could be in my bed, open her legs up. I wouldn't want to fuck her as much as I want to go watch.
Stop it right now.
This is so good. It's so well done. In comparison to the we have to talk about here every week and that show and how amped up I am, I feel like I'm on like 2 bags of Coke. Like I tell you what, I tell you a story, true story. Austin was going somewhere with his mum today. She said, I booked the theater for New Year's Eve and told me what time the showing was going to be. So I said, oh, okay, so we'll get 3-4 episodes in the morning. Like we'll get up like lunatics and we'll get up at 8 and order McDonald's breakfast and watch it. And then I'll have to somehow get through the day. I'm going to go to this night out with my buddy. My buddy lives in this like rich area where like what happens on New Year's Eve is there's these lot of girls, a lot of like hot girls come to the area who don't live there. And it's very, very easy to get them to go to like after parties. So because they're just trying to avoid the ridiculous like Uber back to wherever they live. So so he always has girls coming back to his on New Year's Eve. So I figured I'll do that. I'll go back to this, you know, this bar and this after party with all these girls. It will distract me from thinking about Cobra Kai. Well, Austin. I heard the ring at the door, and Austin said, "Oh, Mum wants the dog because we're back now." I was like, "Oh, it's like, you know, 6:30." So he's like, "Yeah." I said, "I didn't think you'd be back till like 8:30, 9 o'clock." He was like, "No, we're back now." I was like, "All right." So I called my buddy. I'm like, I'm not going to go. Like, I don't really feel like it. I've still got a bit of I've still got a bit of COVID because I know that I could have watched Cobra Kai today, that I would be thinking only about that. So I blew that out. He doesn't watch wrestling, so he's not going to see this. I blew that out immediately, and I stayed home. So Austin's in the next room. I'm going to power through this show, which I don't want to do right now. And I'm going to get straight on and carry on with episode 5. And I can't believe you, who's known me for how many years, 5-6 years now. Sure. And I tell you, and I give you this recommendation on this show, and you still haven't caught up with this, and you still haven't like got round to this. You're still not feeling this vibe today that I am to get this watched.
First, I have a question for you, and then I have a statement. Is the new season has come out like today or whatever? Is it all the episodes, or are you waiting week to week?
It's a
they throw the whole thing.
Yeah,
okay. I make a commitment to you, Billy Body. I will begin the series, and I will start the series. I have this between watching every Royal Rumble in a row that I'm putting on my podcast.
Yeah, and I can't believe you. And that's what makes me the most sad that you're doing that, because I tried to do a bit of that. Just to kill the days till Cobra Kai started.
I realized that because you were commenting on a couple Royal Rumbles, and I'm like, hey, I just recorded about what you were talking about.
Yeah, like I made some like observations. Some stuff I didn't see as a kid, like Heenan being super gay when Lex Luger debuts. Like I didn't.
And the narcissist, he calls him.
Yeah, and I know now it's narcissist. I didn't know then, but enough girls have called me a narcissist over the last 10 years, and now I know the word. And you're probably
I didn't know what it was either at the time. And you know what's funny is I want to see. I know your knowledge of wrestling is like goofy. People who watch this, the man, you could mention something and he will know the match, or he will say what happened. It's bizarre. I don't know if he should be proud or ashamed, to tell you the truth.
Ashamed.
I just started Royal Rumble 2003 today. If you want, by the way, my patreon.com/Lingus Mafia, I am doing the 34 days of Lingus. It's called.
You got Benoit Angle on there, which is the best thing on that show.
Well, I go through all of the Royal Rumbles, and we give every single day there is a review of the next year leading into this year's Royal Rumble. So when that's done, boom, you're in. So we're doing that on the Patreon.
You know the last 2 men in that Rumble?
Of 03, I have no clue. I'm only in the opening match.
It's Taker and Brock.
Okay. So here's the funny thing. Do you know the very opening match? I was like, wow, I couldn't fast forward. I had to sit and watch because I was surprised. I was like, huh. And if you know it's Taker and Brock, you might know the opening match.
The opening match of 2003 Royal Rumble?
Yep.
I don't actually. I know that they put the Dudley Boys back together, and they may be in the first match, but I'm not sure.
No, Dudley Boys are in a lot of first matches, though, like against Hardys and Christian Edge. I'm like, these are good matches. It is Big Show versus Brock Lesnar to open the show.
Oh, yes.
To get into the Rumble.
Oh, yeah.
So, and I was like, it is odd. Brock is such a fresh-faced guy, like he's young. You could see in his face that he's a white meat baby face. And Paul Heyman's with Big Show with that ponytail falling out of the back of his hair with a bald top. It's bizarre, but I'm like, wow, Brock is so young looking in this and with the tights he's wearing and everything. So, yeah, I'm reviewing all of this stuff right now, which it's getting rough. Austin was funny in the prior Royal Rumble. He gets in when there's 3 guys in there. It's like Chuck Palumbo's in there, right?
Yeah, it's funny. While watching these early ones with you, and I'll probably, because I'm going to do Cobra Kai in one day, and then I'm going to do it again, and then I'm going to rewatch it all tomorrow, and then after that,
welcome to the Cobra Kai Informer, ladies. Oh my God! And I mean, Billy has Cobra Kai painted in his son's room. It's your son's room, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, a big mural of Cobra Kai. But I make my commitment to you. A guarantee after at least all these Royal Rumbles are done. But I'm going to start the series. I've heard too much about it. And I watched Karate Kid, obviously, as a kid. I was going to say, do you have your toys?
Yeah.
Signed by Macchio or the other guy?
Both.
My God.
These are Austin's, though.
Yeah, they're Austin's, sure.
Listen, it says Austin on there, right? So
why would you don't ever have anyone's name on that? You know how that goes.
Yeah, but I'm not going to sell the so.
And you know what? Back here, I'll show you. I'll bring to the thing, and I ruined it. This is what I had ruined.
We're going to get the show starts at things.
Yeah.
Today.
Well,
yeah.
Too bad. I have the Kane Hodder Jason autographed. You're busy with Cobra Kai. I got Jason Voorhees autographed, but it's smeared. You see, it's smeared a little bit.
I'll raise you.
Like we're gonna have autograph contests. What do you got? Who is it? I can't see with the glare.
Mark Hamill.
Oh, Mark Hamill. You know what? I'll take that. Mark Hamill. However, see, I could go into my closet right now and pull out I have a Jason Voorhees Mets jersey. Like I had Voorhees stitched on the back, number 13.
I don't think that trumps Hamill. I don't think that trumps Hamill.
Trying to think, who do I have that would trump? I sold the Tom Brady, the greatest of all time football, but that's
you got Vince Russo, maybe.
Yeah, on the wall I have Mike Ditka, and I have Singletary, Richard Dent. Oh, McMichael. Does that trump it?
Tyson and Ali.
Never mind. Signed by both Tyson and Ali.
No, Tyson's boxing glove, and that picture behind me is the white with a white border around it. That's Muhammad Ali.
But is it signed by them?
Yeah.
Wow. Because you know what? My guy who I get all the stuff from, he has a signed Tyson glove. And I was like, I should get that just to get that's fantastic. A glove signed by Tyson. I love Tyson. I mean, people have the argument, Tyson, Ali. We weren't alive for Ali. I have no idea.
Well, I have Tyson. I have that Tyson autograph on my arm. That Tyson picture on my arm, and he autographed on it. And I got that tattoo, that autograph tattooed on me immediately in Miami. And I did the same thing for Hogan. So I have Hogan.
That's awesome.
I have Hogan and Tyson's pictures on my sleeve from my 80s sleeve, and then I have the autographs tattooed on there too. I would show you now, but I don't think it's going to come up on the.
That's some wild that's crazy.
And
Jesus Christ. My 80s sleeve. You know what's funny is my buddy in Hollywood, he has, I can see that, yeah. He has he goes, this is my childhood sleeve. And it's like comic book people. He has the Ultimate Warrior's face, or not face, but the paint.
It is my childhood sleeve. Yeah, I think I prefer to, because on my elbow is the Spider-Man.
Spider-Man, yeah. People have a spider tattoo on their elbow. You have Spider-Man tattoo on your elbow. You gonna get a Hook tattoo next?
That was so fun. That was so fun how people were falling for that. How they were like, what are you talking about? Like, and then they were giving me like
well, explain to people what you're talking about first.
Well, I said on Twitter like how WWE should really get Hook and they should have him destroy Brock Lesnar, and how if he's gonna stay at AEW that they should put a Goldberg pushing him. And I said if both these companies want to move forward, they should have Veer Mahan and Hook beat everybody and Goldberg pushes. And people were going, oh no, I wouldn't do it with him. He goes, I agree with Hook, but I would do it with this guy in WWE. It's like, oh my God, they really don't understand. Like this audience, they had no concept of sarcasm at all.
And they should know coming from you what the what is your thoughts on Hook anyway? I do enjoy him. He's a small guy, but I do enjoy him. And the one thing that happened that last week is what everybody was up in arms about, is he had like an inverted pile driver and just stood up.
Okay. Carry on, because I just need to, something's not plugged in there.
So he gets that inverted pile driver, stands back up, and then beats a guy who's twice his size. That's my only problem with when they do this. And
his dad did it though. So his dad did it. So
yeah, I guess that's the thing. And you know what? My guy I know, Vinny Massaro, who's an indie wrestler. He's been on quite a few things. He was in that Mexican scripted one. What the hell was that one called? That was a TV series though.
I'm on the podcast
with Johnny Mundo. Who the hell? What show was that?
Another 20 minutes. Don't watch any episodes without me.
What was that? It was Lucha Underground. That was it. Vinny Massaro was in there, but he tweeted out and he said a lot of people are up in arms. My take is that Taz has been having him do neck bridges since he was 3 years old, so his neck is stronger than most people, so he can get up.
Oh,
they need to say it.
They should have an explanation then. I agree.
I hope they do. Or they show him in the back doing some warm-ups with neck bridges and kind of glance about it. And be like, oh, no wonder you could pop up so easy from that pile driver.
But are you against him beating everybody? Are you against him being 30-0 or something?
Depending who it is. He's going against nobodies at this point. He's got to have a match where he has a full match, but it is hard to see somebody that's not that big wrecking people. And I mean, he could be the shooter type of guy, though, where they could build him up to be like he's a real grappler. So, it's not necessarily, oh, this is BS that he could do that. Angle, obviously, is a bigger guy. So you could see that he could run through people, but he's not terribly, terribly big. But his reputation of I do the Olympics, I'm an Olympic champion. So he would wreck everybody. And I mean, look how much smaller he is than Brock. And he took Brock down.
It's like Gable in WWE, so.
Yeah, they didn't. I don't think they used Gable what they should have with it. Like they're inching toward it now, but it's too late. He just loses. So he should come out there. But Hook does the whole test. No nonsense. I'm walking out and getting out there and just going to town. So I do like that for some reason. I'm like, I don't know. I'm a Hook fan. And the the title of my last Wrestlingus show is Send Tyler Cole Sinercha. Says his name. They all have the Send Hook signs out there. Yeah. Send Tyler Cole. His middle name is Cole. And I was like, do you think that was
Michael Cole?
I thought so, but he's born 99, I think. So it's before he's teamed up with Cole, though, to be good friends. So
I thought he'd be younger than that, 99. So that would make him 23.
He's like 22 or 23. Yeah, that's why. That's how old he is. So, yeah. So, you got any news for us about anything? I know.
Yeah. So
I have something about Toni Storm, but we could talk about Toni Storm too if you don't.
Yeah, I mean, I was going to take this week off because we already have the award show going, and the next show was supposed to be revealing the results, but we had an issue.
Vote at the Informer that way for me on the
we
camera.
had an issue
Vote.
with my Twitter account. So we're only mainly here to do a little bit of news, to preview day one, and to reinforce the fact that you should vote. So very, very quickly, it's at K100 Informer now. All the votes are up there. We're going to say it again at the end of the show. Match of the year is between Edge and Rollins, Luchas and the Bucks, Roman, Edge and Bryan from WrestleMania, and Becky versus Charlotte. Male Wrestler of the Year, Roman, Daniel Bryan, Kenny Omega, or Lashley. Female Wrestler of the Year, Becky, Charlotte, Mandy, or Bianca Belair. We dropped Sasha from this, and I'm just sure that she won someone else's awards. She won the No DQ awards.
Say that again. You cut out for a second. You dropped what?
We dropped Sasha at the last minute, and we dropped Britt Baker and put Mandy Rose in. And I saw that Sasha won someone else's awards for this year when you said it wasn't a very busy year for her. Moment of the year, Punk returns, Punk MJF exchange. Cena returns, Lesnar saves Heyman. Character of the year, Roman, MJF, Farmer Brock Lesnar, and Dan Lambert. Worst character of the year, Cody Rhodes, Madcap Moss, Alexa Bliss with Lily, and Nikki Ash. I had replaced in the Dark Order because they are a group and not character.
Yeah.
Best heel is MJF, Roman, Becky, or Omega. And best storyline, Roman, Brock, and Paul together in that triangle storyline. Omega, Hangman, MJF, Punk, and Charlotte and Becky. And if you go over and check the last episode, you will see that we talk about all these categories in depth with our guests. Girl on Cinema, who was really good. Disco, Conan, and Eric Bischoff. In fact, everybody was really good, but she was obviously the last person that we got in through the short list of women because we're only having one woman on. And I definitely feel we made the right choice because we're getting a lot of comments about the clips from our show.
100%. And we were going to have well-known female wrestler on the show.
Yeah.
And you know what?
And we will
Girl on Cinema, 100 times better.
Well, when we get that person, that's going to sound, that's not going to age well when we do get that person. We don't know what that person's going to be like. So,
yeah, I mean, they could blow us out of the water, but and it's for the name. They were in the business and doing it. That's the big difference, obviously.
Yeah.
Somebody who was there, but GOC, I like the name GOC. That's funny because there's an AOC. So GOC, she knew, and people kind of, you see people dump on her about she's like the Eva Marie. She doesn't know about wrestling and she's commenting. She just wants to get in the group. She watches the product. She's just been watching it since 2016.
She DM'd me straight away, like with that hook thing, and was, I can't believe people are falling for that thing on your timeline. So yeah, she knows, and she's smarter than a lot of these people that think that they're smart. So that's again at the end of the show. I'll try and hit that again. So really need you guys to go over and vote, and also follow this new account. Which hopefully will not be getting banned at any point. I don't think it will be. I think I know the mistake I made on the last one, and I won't be making the mistake again.
So I want to first give props to the people who've been making comments on the video now. Like, it is completely flipped from what used to be there.
I don't say that because then they'll flip back. Like, just
no. But I'm giving props to the people that are enjoying the show and taking it for what it is. That this is not, here's your news show, thank you, goodbye. This is a shoot the show, and there is news in it. But I do appreciate the people who are watching and do enjoy it. If you don't enjoy the show, then you don't watch it. Who cares? That's your prerogative. It's you like something or you don't. So
I did
enjoy this. You were fun. We're having fun.
Obviously, to me, like when they tag comments, like where they tag like, oh, I love it when I agree with what so-and-so said on this minute, or oh, that was really funny. Oh, that really made me laugh on this. I was one thing where it said, oh, Billy completely redeemed himself for what he said about Tony Khan or something like that. So yeah, I don't mind. I don't think I have anything to redeem, but whatever. Like that comments are all good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, all comments are all good. You can say what you want as long as you're not stealing money from me, and which is by time-stamping the intro. And if you notice, I haven't even talked about money at the start of this. I haven't even talked about anything that makes me money here. And obviously, this is the biggest time of the year where I should be promoting lock betting, but I'll do it at the end.
Where's that? Lockbetting.com, you mean? Where you make all your bet money?
Yeah, that's where people make 103 months, 103 months in a row for transparent track profit. I haven't even spoke about it yet.
We're not going to even mention that.
No. So, yeah, moving on with the news, just a couple of bits because it's a quiet time of the year. You want to talk about the Toni Storm thing. It's very simple. what I think my biggest issue with Meltzer is when something happens and he didn't say before, and suddenly it happens, and the next day he's like, oh yeah, well I heard this and I heard that, and it's like, dude, you're saying that you heard 6 months worth of when you didn't say anything, and you charged $10.99 for a newsletter. So how did you know? Like, he's always reactive to everything, and what he says a lot of the time is contrary to what I say. The difference between me and him is when we're talking about Toni Storm being fired and having the reason behind it,
or released,
one of the reasons we already covered. So we already have credibility by saying that the WWE took her off television to make her lose weight. She didn't want to lose weight. They made her lose 25 pounds. And if you're watching the show and you don't think she lost 25 pounds, like, trust me.
You can totally see it. Totally see it.
My colleague here does a pervy voting competition each year. And
Miss Lingus, yeah.
Yeah, so he knows when these girls are changing their appearance. And it was crazy, like, that ass didn't really go with that belly.
See, I don't even think she was belly more than like it's hips side ass. You know, it was obviously, we all know she's bottom heavy. She got a fat ass, which with a pH, by the way, and it's not even a bad thing, not a bad thing at all. But you did see that she got in better shape and she was up. And the other thing that you were right about that you did mention before, and I don't think you ever mentioned that this is one of your stories that is right on the money, is you said anyone can ask for their release and get it except for this, and this. And Toni asked for a release and they just said, go ahead. So here it is, which is, I wonder if she's just like, I'm sick of this place. It's just, and
they're very
Britt
scared.
Baker. Did you see Britt Baker, what she tweeted out? She just tweeted out a picture of Toni Storm.
Yeah, well, that's where she'll end up going. So there's a lot of other moving parts to this. They're very scared of people who say that their mental health is struggling, and they always let them go. That's like,
the easy way out, for sure.
The easy way out. So with her, it was a case of all of her friends were gone. She wasn't happy about that. She wasn't happy with her utilization. She lost 25 pounds to take a pie in the face and obviously have her identity stripped away with the whole Lost in the 80s gimmick that she was building. They kind of moved away from that, and Vince McMahon was trying to build up an underdog, which she doesn't really want to be. So with her being the underdog with no real identity, stripping away that 80s gimmick, having no friends there, being told to lose weight, and also in the arenas, people weren't really on board with the character, because a lot of the times in the house shows they were cheering for Charlotte as opposed to Toni, because they're obviously more familiar with the character. So this is reports I'm getting from crew. So all this adds up to her having a release. And as I said, the credibility sits here because we have parts of the story before she left, the same way with Karrion Kross and Scarlett. Whatever you say about that story, we had parts of the story, as proven this week, where we said, where's Scarlett? And I said, when they bring him in, they want her to wrestle. They're sending her down to NXT.
And she said flat out, they want me to wrestle. So I was wrestling in dark matches to start the show.
And I was the only person that ever said she's going to brush up on her wrestling because they want them to bring them in as a tandem, because everybody must wrestle. So
I think where they mention a lot, and not to shy away from it either, is that you said because she'd been around the block a few times and they wanted to do something to Kross to like see him get by himself without her. And they bring that up, which is weird because it's like, but that's in tandem with her learning to wrestle and getting out there to wrestle. So there is no proof that that is not part of the case. Do you really think Karrion Kross is going to say on Renee's show, yeah, they wanted to stick it to me because she's been with multiple guys and I'm jealous about it?
Here's the thing, that was taken out of context, because what I actually said is that the WWE know that she's got friendships outside of Kross, and that she's been with some guys. And
do you know who? Do you have any idea like who she's dated? We don't know if she banged. You know who she's dated? I don't even know.
Only Seth is the only one I know.
Really, Seth been there?
So with that. What I said is that they feel that he's short with people backstage, and they made their own assessment that was the reason. that why he was like that with particular guys, because they said that she is more friendly with people than he is, and they made the big assumption that perhaps he has an issue with the fact that his wife knows so many people and he's more standoffish. So not his wife, girlfriend, but whatever. So
fiance.
Yeah. So the other bit of news, if we just move over to it, my understanding is, as of now, they are going to blow through this Omos and AJ breakup, as in have a one match thing that doesn't even get to pay-per-view, because they have significant plans for both. So AJ has signed a 1-year extension option, so he's not going to be going on February the 1st. And I also don't think that Sammy and Liv are going to be going either, because they're in talks that are progressing. And sooner or later, you're going to hear that Sammy and Liv are staying on. But AJ is the first one that's staying on. And Omos and AJ are going to get a big push separately from each other. One is going to do one thing, one is going to do the other. At the moment, they are examining the possibility that Omos actually ends up beating Big E for this title.
Wow.
That's how far ahead they may push him. The only issue is that you're not high enough at the moment on Big E in order to go through with that, because Big E's the one that they've lost confidence in. So I don't want to commit to too much, because 3 months down the line, it'll be like, Billy said this and Billy said that. And it'll be like, no. So I'm going to sit on the fence, and I'm going to tell you that they're going to blow through that feud, and both of these two guys are going to get pushes. And I've heard that he's in consideration to have a big run at the Rumble and to
he's going to be the Diesel spot, right?
And and then be in the title match potentially at Mania. So what
do you think of him? I don't care. I don't care even a little bit. I don't think, didn't Nash say he saw him in the training thing and he's like, oh, he's got it, man. He's got it. He understands it. I'm like,
so did Undertaker. Undertaker said there'll never be another Andre, but he's the closest thing we've ever had.
I can't even believe that. What are they? I'm like, am I out of touch? Am I not seeing something? I even asked the people who comment, tell me if you see anything in the guy.
If Vince has that vibe and he's getting it echoed by Steve Austin and Kevin Nash and The Undertaker, which he is, then this will happen. So he's a future WWE champion. But
just from size, because God no, I haven't seen him do anything. He punches people, throws them down. I don't get him even a little bit, because obviously he's not like talking on a microphone well or something.
I still think your title match at Mania should be Orton going in against Riddle. That's why I think. But
I don't mind that either. And they teased that this week with that RKO thing, because you're waiting for it. And you know what? Me and Fausti on my show, we talked about this and thought this would be even better. How about Riddle turns on Orton instead? And gets rid of being goofy. He stops with the it's horrific. This, how did you get that on the screen, dude? It's awful. If he turned and was a badass the way he is.
It'd be interesting to see who's moving this RK Bro merch, because at the moment, as I said, they're killing Big E. Matt Riddle is outselling Big E in promo photos, the signed promo photos. So it'll be interesting to see if the Orton rub is why Riddle's popular, or whether Riddle is independently popular. I think the assumption would be that he's independently popular, and I think so. And that's why they'll believe that this character's popular. He's not going to turn heel.
Oh, do you think that'd be like? Imagine that in your head. Do you think that would be good, that he gets rid of the stuff, that he's a moron, and I'm going to sell Brogurt? What the hell was that? I'm going to sell my Brogurt. You love to taste my It sounds like he's shooting a load in Orton's mouth. Do you want my Brogurt? What are you talking about?
I've had enough of that. Yes, Lex. You do love yourself. Oh, look at the biceps. Oh, look at the ass.
That's almost what Riddle's doing with Orton, for God's sake.
Ass for me, Lex.
Good Lord.
I can't believe that. If anyone doesn't know what I'm talking about, a 93 Rumble, the unveiling of Narcissist.
And Bobby Heenan giving Lex a blowjob underneath the curtain. But don't you think this would set Riddle straight to not be a moron? And he's the one, because you were all waiting for Orton to turn. You know it's gonna happen. So
no, because they're
flip
all
that
in.
pig.
They're all in on the moron. They think that is.
Oh,
they think
God.
that's the character. And also, they don't think moron. They think stoner. So that's the.
I think.
That's gonna get bleeped out anyway. So.
How is a normal word? I love that these now. Don't do it. Don't you dare bleep out that word. That's so.
The Black Eyed
to bleep out that word is.
The Black Eyed Peas song "Let's Get Rid" was banned over there. It was like "Let's Get."
Yeah.
What they changed?
Let's get it started.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. No. And you know what? They wouldn't even know that they're being made fun of. What's the difference? It's like you can't say midget either now. Get out of here with all this. They're crazy. I watched. You know what I should play here because people go crazy. Yeah, Fred Sanford from Sanford and Son is using the N-word like crazy on the show. This is a TV show he's yelling it. But God forbid anybody says anything. You're not allowed to say nothing anymore. Is that all for your news? Or do we want to get to day one? Is that it?
That's the news and the Joe Rogan portion of the show with Cav. So Cav playing Joe Rogan.
Yeah, I'm going to shave my head soon, so I'll be just like Joe Rogan. I have to have hair for the wedding though, and then I can shave my head. That's the rule.
What's up with your wife? Where's your hairline at?
It's there. It's fine.
Not too bad.
Let's see. I don't have a hole in the back. It's more the front that's starts to go away. But so
you're not Brad Shepard yet, so
no. I mean it's there still. And you know what? A lot of people beg to have this much. So whatever. I'm 40. I'm turning 46 next month, Billy. I've lasted quite a long time.
When anything starts to go, like I see like the hairs in my bed now. So as soon as
long hair is going to be noticed 100 times more when you. I used to have the long mane. You'd run your hands through, you'd have a handful of hair, and you go, "You're just shedding."
Yeah, see, I won't know whether to go with the lubricants or the pills or the.
You can get a laser hat, a laser helmet. You could do that.
Oh, I don't think I want lasers in my brain. Like
you're worried about a vaccine, don't put a helmet on your head with lasers. But they had a comb that had lasers, and it was the crazy. You had a comb 30 seconds.
The difference between the vaccine and what you're talking about is that this stuff you're talking about probably works. So
I don't know. I think they both probably don't work. I'm like too lazy to put on a helmet 3 times a week and let lasers hit me in the head. I'm like, it's just laziness flat out, Oh, breaking news. Andy Dalton's going to start on Sunday against the Giants. Put all your money on the Bears to cover that 6.5 point spread.
Where are we at? We want to do
day one. Day one we're going over, yeah.
Right, day one. Okay, so we're going to do this from the betting lines perspective.
Okay.
Roman Reigns is the 1-2 favorite. Brock Lesnar is 6-4. In US odds, that's -200 and +150. What that means is, the way USA do it, if you put 100 on Brock Lesnar, you win 150 profits. You'll have 250 altogether. You need to bet 200 on Roman Reigns to make 100. So if you put 200 on Roman, you'll make 100. And if you bet 100 on Brock, you'll make 150.
Is that to win the title or just say they won?
Just to say they won.
That's where it's always iffy, because there could be some nonsense where it's like, well, Brock won, but he didn't win the title.
And that can happen. I could see it being like 1, 2, Heyman like pulls a ref out and punches him in the face or something.
Do you think Heyman's good? I think Heyman's just going to prove himself to Roman, and he's going to help him.
Yeah,
right?
I agree. Yeah.
I can't get rid of that them together. It's too good. It's such money. It's such money. But how does he get away from saying, I'm protecting you from Brock? Because that's still out there that he thinks Brock is doing. I mean, other than him going, our plan worked the whole time. I took one for the team and got punched in the face just to fool Brock.
Who's Betty White?
Betty White. What, did she die? Golden Girls. She died?
At 99.
Wow. Betty White died. That's awful. Get out of here.
No, they're just going to say it. They're just going to make it.
Well, I mean, if she did catch it when you're 99, I mean, she was pretty damn good shape. That's yeah. I have my Funko Pop of Betty White. I have all the Golden Girls.
I'm good. You're torturing me from keeping me away from Cobra Kai.
Okay. Well, all right. Let's speed through. I'm going to torture. Yeah, I like it. I'm going to make you
25-minute show you promised me on New Year's Eve today.
I didn't promise nothing. Go ahead. Let's breeze through. I'm the one talking this time. Go ahead.
All right. It's Big E, Seth Rollins, Kevin Owens, unless someone misses this match through illness. Big E is available at 4-5, which is minus 125 US. Rollins 7-2, which is 350 US. Owens 4-1, which is plus 400 US, and Lashley is 11-2, which is plus 550 US. When I say pluses, that means you need to bet $100 to make that much money. Big E minus 125 means you need to put down 125 to win 100. So he's the favorite in this match. What's interesting is that WWE have abandoned testing, probably so they don't have to find out that anyone else has it.
It's smart. You can't have it if you don't get tested.
Yeah. And one other interesting thing is that two people didn't have, and they were just sent home at the weekend because they felt like if anybody else is missing, we can still do the day one pay-per-view, but we cannot do it without Roman and Big E, because with Big E being a fatal four-way, you can slide people in and out. You can have a singles match, a triple threat, a fatal four-way with different people, obviously. And with Roman Reigns against Brock Lesnar, you can't lose half of that main event. So those two were sent home precautionary. Becky Lynch was sent home because Seth had it, and Bianca was sent home because Montez had it. So these people haven't necessarily tested positive, but Roman and Big E were precautionary. I think Big E wins this match.
I'm terrified when you talk about Roman. I'm terrified that he goes, I'm out of here until this calms down. Give my belt away. I'm leaving again. I hope not, because I'm like, the man had cancer. You can understand his concern. After, you know what? I thought Lashley in this match until you said the almost stuff, which I said, well, then Big E's kind of got to keep it around. But I'm really hoping Lashley gets
But what if your babyface, like Lashley, if Lashley's teasing breaking up with MVP?
Yeah.
So what if he wins it and MVP's he gets rid of MVP and MVP's the new mouthpiece for Omos?
You know, that's very good.
Why don't I work there? Why did I work there? Like, that's how you get there. That's
because I guarantee you they've had that idea and Vince goes, no. It doesn't matter your idea. You have the greatest idea in the world. Vince goes, no. That's the worst thing about it. Russo told me with Tony Khan that Tony it's all his ideas. And he told me flat out this, and I flat out do not believe that's the case.
How did Russo know that?
I think, well, he talks to people there, I guess, because my thought is it's a freer place. And I think the wrestlers come to him with ideas and he kind of says, that's good. Go ahead. I think he's very open to creative. What's your idea? Because he's not a wrestling guy. He's a guy like us that had money that could make something. So if it was me or you, we would have ideas. But at the same time, I would say, what's your input? What do you want to do? And maybe I add a little piece to it or go, that's a horrible idea. What do you think to other people?
See, that was the funniest stuff this week I saw online was when they didn't sign Owens. And the funny thing is everybody's mocking him for signing that Miss Martinez girl that came on this week and Silent Kyle O'Reilly. Like, oh, they're signing everybody. And then when they didn't get Owens, they're saying that Tony Khan did an interview this week where he said, oh, we need to be we need to scrutinize basically all the signings that we make moving forward. We need to be, you need to be more tight with it. We need to make sure that we really need to sign who we need to sign moving forward. And this idiot on Twitter, this Gareth WWE, who's like a WWE shill, a real loser because he's supporting WWE passionately during their worst time, which is dumb. But
it used to be me.
This idiot was going, oh, the money's running out. Well, first of all, they're 3 times richer than the McMahons, and the whole thing is a toy. Their business model is set up to use the TV money to pay the wrestlers, their salary, and then the rest of the time they're set up to lose $20 million a year for the next 5 years. So the business model is to lose $100 million in 5 years. Now they're on course to lose a lot more, probably because they've overspent the budget. They spend more on wrestlers than they're getting from TV, and they get $175 million a year. Their wage bill it's higher than $175 million a year. Probably because you got $3 million to Punk, $3 million to Jericho, $3 million to Moxley, and $3 million to Omega. That's the biggest problem that you have, because everybody's on, or the main guys are on $3 million contracts. So that's how you've blown your wage budget. Not that they've blown it, but this is just a ridiculous amount of overspending that they're doing, including $22,000 a week on catering. So
Jesus,
that's just insane. But yeah,
and that's just for Eddie Kingston,
right? And either way, they're not gonna run out of money, because I always said this is a toy. It's not got any plans to make any money. And this is the thing. This is beyond people's comprehension, that people can run businesses like this. Look, I've been around, and I'm not saying that I am one before that gets thrown at me, but I've been around very rich people my whole life. When I was a club promoter, I used to make a lot of my money through running birthday parties through my social media. I would say, any girls that are turning 18 or 21 or whatever age, any girls doing their birthday this weekend, contact me, because I was able to get all the girls in for free drink, free entry, free everything, because the philosophy in London is, if the girls come in, the rich men will come in as well. And I had all of these men contacting me, guys in their 40s and 50s, these millionaires, all in my phone, that would contact me and say, hey, we want to buy a table. We want a table next to the hottest group of girls that you've got coming in this week, or at whatever location, because I did this for various clubs. So once these guys bought the table, I was paid £20 a head for the girls that didn't pay, and I was paid 10% of the table spend of the men. Now, bearing in mind the markup of all the alcohol in London, so these guys were spending £50,000 to £60,000 a weekend on their tables. I was getting 10% of that, right? That's what I did for a living for a lot of years. I was getting 10% of these rich people's table spends, because these 40, 50-year-old guys, I sound like Jeffrey Epstein. These 40, 50-year-old guys wanted to be around these young girls.
Don't hang yourself.
Who were celebrating their birthdays and whatnot, or these modeling agency parties, or these casting parties. So much was going on every week. And from that, I've transitioned on to lockbetting.com. Now, I set my stakes sensibly.
Where'd you go?
Lockbetting.com.
Oh, okay.
I set my stakes sensibly for every man. Like, as I was talking about my 1 unit plays, that's supposed to be £100/$125. That's the maximum I'll bet. Doesn't mean my clients are in there. I know guys that are betting $10,000 per bet that I put out, and therefore are making millions per year. So they're earning more money from me, from my work. And I know who these clients are. I know that I'm not going to say what some of them do, but I know that there's a heart surgeon and a plastic surgeon in my group. I know these guys personally, because I asked the doctor a load of medical questions during. You
say because he's the guy who did your nose.
No, he's not the guy who did my nose. But yeah, so I know these people, and I know that there are people out there that will blow their wad and blow ridiculous amounts of money just to party. So if this guy's not a party guy, if he is that 40-year-old virgin who wants to run his wrestling company and that's his fantasy and that's what he gets hard on, then obviously this is what he's going to do. And he doesn't have 2, 3 million, 5 million, 10 million like the guys that I know. He has $11 billion. Do you understand what that means?
I mean, and they own the Jagoffs, for God's sake.
They own Fulham.
Fulham what is it?
Oh,
okay, yeah.
Right.
Jesus.
Well, they were a Premier League team.
It's a lot of money, man. And, Punk made the wrong line this week. Did you see where he said he's a bigger waste of money than Tim Tebow?
Yeah.
He should have said Urban Meyer. I'm like, Tebow wasn't even on the team. He can make the league minimum. What the hell is that?
He still got paid.
Yeah, it was on the practice squad, the league minimum, and then he got cut before the season started. I was like, Urban Meyer's the big punch in the face. But then I said, maybe they said you might want to shy away from that. That's serious. They're pissed off. They paid a lot of money to a guy.
Yeah, maybe they don't. Maybe the fans wouldn't have known Urban Meyer because maybe they don't watch football. All right, let's breeze through. Yeah.
Okay.
Becky's a -300 favorite. Liv is a 2-1 +200 underdog.
I would think Becky continues this for, I mean, they got to get Liv to sign first.
Yeah. Exactly the same odds for RK Bro versus the Street Profits, minus 300 versus plus 200.
I would assume RK Bro wins.
Usos minus 200, 1-2. New Day 6-4, plus 150.
Usos got to get their win back. They just lost.
Yep, I agree. This is tight. This is the tightest match we've covered. Edge 4-6, minus 150. So it means you have to put on 150 to win 100. Miz is at 11-10, which means if you put on 100, you win 110 profit. So this is the tightest match of the card. I don't see why. For me, it's straightforward.
Yeah, I think Edge would have to win this, right? I mean,
yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I bet this week,
unless it's some nonsense to keep it continuing, you know.
The widest bet of the show. Drew McIntyre 1-10, which is 1-1,000. You have to put 1,000 on to win 100.
Wow.
Madcap Moss 6-1, 100 wins 600.
If he loses to Madcap Moss, the only thing you ever think of is having it by nonsense, because Moss needs something he needs a win somewhere. Does this help him if he gets it? But it would be by, somebody else helping and pulling a leg or some nonsense. But yeah, I'll go with McIntyre on this.
All right. So to get all my official picks, where I'll be giving out once I get information, I'll be putting bets out for this. I'll be putting together parlays and little tidbits like that. Head over to lockbetting.com. As I've said on the show, we've got it in multiple times. I've made 103 months of profit. It's completely legitimate. If you go to my gambling Twitter, which is at SGP Soccer, you can see the spreadsheet from the previous month. And when I post up the month of December, whoa, you're going to see something. We've made over £3,700. That's over 37 units. That's good for over $5,000 of profit in a single month. And that's doing it mostly with $125 bets. So they're the maximum bets that I do. Somewhere between $125 or $60. They are the maximum bets I do. As I said, I do have some clients that are betting thousands and are getting very, very rich. But if you're looking for a second income, head over to lockbetting.com. Last thing I'm going to advertise before we go off. The Twitter account is at K100Informer now. That's where you can vote on the end of year awards for the Wrestling Informer. Please go back and check out the show we did. It's one of the best shows we've done with Girl on Cinema, Disco Inferno, Conan, and Eric Bischoff, hosted by myself and Cav. Anything else?
No, just my patreon.com/Lingus Mafia. Go to my free feed. Just type in Lingus Mafia wherever you get your podcasts, and you'll see the Wrestlingus show on there as well, where we talk weekly about what is going down in wrestling, because people don't understand the word cunnilingus, and that's Wrestlingus. What's going down. Look it up. And thank you. God bless you. And see some of my nonsense show. And that's that. Go to at K100Informer and please vote. Let's get a ton of votes. Next week, we will have all the results for everybody. Imagine that. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for enjoying the show. Hope we give you some light in your day and something to look forward to. We enjoy doing it, and it's fun to shoot, as they say. For Mr. Billy Body. Nobody can hear this.
Oh,
it's terrible. Go watch Cobra Kai, everybody. I'm going to watch, but it's the Twilight Zone Marathon weekend, Billy, every year on Sci-Fi. Twilight Zone.
You watched part 1, 2, and 3 of the films, right? You remember them, yeah?
Oh, yeah, I did.
Okay. Once you start watching it, you'll keep watching. What they do very well is at the end of the episode, something happens where it's like, oh, I got something to do, but I got to watch like the first 5 minutes of that. See what happened with that little thing they left hanging. So just exactly what wrestling don't do, they do. When you watch the end of Raw and that you used to go, oh my God,
it's over. Yeah.
I have to wait 1 week to see Kane's face. Like,
you would go crazy till the next week. Yeah. And now it's like, we need to finish the story in one night, but I'll be watching all.
Let's definitely finish in the next 30 seconds. But what was the biggest cliffhanger where you were like, what the happened? Was it the screw job, which is the obvious one? Or for me, my one was when Austin lost the first blood match, because I didn't know what they were going to do for the end of that match. But when he lost the title, I really wanted to see what they did on Monday.
Yeah, and also Foley falling off the cage. You wanted to hear what the hell happened the next time too. Yeah, they had some great cliffhanger in pay-per-views. Now they don't bother with that anymore. Kane with the mask is pretty damn good, though. That is one that you're dying to see, because I think that was the best ever in any time ever a mask being taken off. Because they had the fake hair on there that we had no clue that they ended up doing, and like he only had patch of hair left. And I'm like, it was fantastic. And they're like, we took the mask off, and they go, what the hell is that?
And you know what? Some people are critical. I didn't even think it was bad when they were like, "Oh, you're not really burnt. You're just a lunatic. You think you were burnt." And then he had to go super psycho afterwards with like setting JR on fire and Tuesday Linda and I tell you, give me a story. I'm wet and hard for a story, guys.
Both. He's a hermaphrodite.
Give me.
The best promo too. One of the best promos ever is he's sitting in the ring. I believe it's in SmackDown, and he has that WCW title that you see behind me. And he sits in a chair in the ring, and he does a whole dialogue. I gotta find that again. It is so good, and they had, I think, some music behind it too. But they had lights low.
I'm interested. Put in the comments. This is a really interesting thing to talk about in the comments. What's yours? I could give you some choices that I can remember.
What's the best cliffhanger you know off the top of your head?
Screw job, the revealing of Kane.
Screw job has to be number one because it was real, and it was like, holy God, what's going to happen?
I'm getting jet to WWE with a lethal dose of poison. First show after the pipe bomb, more recently. So just some of that I'm just throwing out there. So just let me know. It's an interesting thing to put in the comments. So let's finish up because we're well long.
Okay. All right, that's it. Yeah, well long. Billy,
I know
you see how much he talks?
I know my son is like pulled
itching over there.
Yeah, he's watched an episode he's not supposed to watch.
I have 50 Royal Rumbles to do and go to a golf simulator in the garage at the same time. That's what I'll be doing. I'm Cav Manning. That's Billy Body. This direction. It depends on which way the camera is. We'll see you next week.